All right, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening. Good afternoon. My name is Allison. Welcome to our 40-minute all levels flow today. So you don't really need anything. If you want to grab a blanket or a block, something to sit on, if that's a little bit more comfortable for you, you have that option. Or water or anything else, go ahead and grab it. We'll go ahead and get started on our backs. So your choice. So you can bring bottoms of the feet together. They go right into that stretch to those inner thighs. Okay, or if that's a little bit too aggressive for you, you can bring those feet a little bit wider and then bring those knees together to touch. Okay, so again, knees together, touching a little bit more relaxing, feet together, knees wider, a little bit more of a stretch. So just kind of depending on what you want. Just closing down those eyes, just taking a few breaths in and out through the nose. Really focusing that breath into the lowest part of the lungs. That belly will expand slightly. Expanding that rib cage out to the top, the sky, the sides, and then all the way down into the mat. Big, big breath in. And exhaling that breath out. So you can even open the mouth inside out. Again, big, big breath in. Expanding the belly, the chest. Pulling all that air in. And exhaling it out. And now we'll close down the mouth. And continue to take that really big breath in through the nose. But just breathe it out through the nose. So you can still make that sound. And that exhale. Focusing on that breath. Noticing if any random thoughts pop into your head, just acknowledge them. And then just come right back to that breath. And then bring those knees together if they weren't already. Ooh. And then we'll hug those knees into the chest. Okay, bring those arms out to the T, stacking those knees right over those hips. The shins are going to be parallel to the ground. So bring those arms out to a field goal, and then we'll drop those knees over to the right side. And inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale those knees over to the left side. So we're not letting those knees touch the ground. We're getting a twist, a little warm up through that core. Again, over to that right side. Inhale, center to the left. And center. Let's go one more time each way. Over to the right side. Hold it. Breathe. Core is tight. And bring it back to the center. Over to the other side. And bring it back to center. Go ahead and plant those feet down, bridging those hips up. So really press into the heels, the balls of the feet, and the toes, lifting through those hips. Core stays nice and tight. And then lower those hips down. Cross that right ankle over as we hug that knee in. So grabbing onto that left hamstring, or maybe grabbing onto that shin. Keeping that spine nice and long. So we're just going to flatten it out. So if your spine is rounded, you'll feel those vertebrae digging into the mat. But as soon as we start to ground down through that tailbone, kind of lift up through that low back, those vertebrae will lift. They'll be a little bit more comfortable on your back, and you'll get a better stretch through that outer hip. Now just go ahead and release that right or the left leg down, extending that right leg up towards the ceiling. Okay, interlacing those fingers behind that hamstring, and just pull that leg in a little bit closer to the body. And you can always slide that left leg out straight to the mat. pressing that foot up towards the ceiling, and then pull that knee in a little bit closer. And then we'll release, just bending into that knee. The left hand will twist that knee across as that right arm reaches out into that twist. Take that big breath in, and then on that exhale, see if you can soften a little deeper into that twist. Bring that knee back to center. Plant that right foot down, knees bent, crossing that left ankle over, and hug that right knee and grab onto that hamstring. Maybe you can grab onto the shin, but you can keep that tailbone grounded down. Go ahead and lower that right leg down, extending that left leg up. So bottom of the foot is pointing up towards the ceiling, grabbing onto that hamstring, and then pull that leg a little bit closer to you. Your choice if you extend out that right leg. Go ahead and bend that knee, right hand. We'll twist that knee across as that left arm reaches out into that twist. And now bring that knee back to center. Go ahead and hug both knees into your chest. We'll just rock forward and back a couple times maybe. And we'll come all the way up into a seat. So sitting up nice and tall, legs are crossed. We'll reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, we'll twist it to that right side. And now we'll keep that left hand on our right knee. Just reach that right arm out and then find that side stretch. And then reach both arms back up. We'll twist it over to your left side again, sitting tall on that inhale. Exhale into that twist. And now we're going to reach that left arm out and up. So keep that right arm on that knee as we find that side bend. Good. Bring it back up. Just interlace those fingers behind the back. Draw those knuckles down towards the ground first, and then bring those hands back, opening up through that chest. Trying to get the heads of the shoulders. Start to rotate back as much as they will allow. You've been sitting all day at a computer, sometimes it gets really, really tight. So this is good to do throughout the day. And then go ahead and release it. Plant those hands down. We're going to roll over and just step it right back into a downward facing dog. So spread those fingers out, okay, gripping those fingertips, the palms, the heels of the hand into the mat. So distribute that weight all across the hand. It's going to feel a little bit better on your wrists. So pulling those forearms towards each other, stabilizing the shoulders, keeping that core tight back, flat. Press that tailbone up towards the ceiling. You can bend those knees as much as you need to, and then press those heels down towards the mat. So think about heels are pressing down as that tailbone is lifting up. Big stretch all along the backs of the legs. Now we'll inhale on the toes. Bend those knees, look forward, stepping those feet to the top of the mat. Inhaling, that half lift, so flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to standing, reaching those arms up nice and tall. And then interlace those fingers. Bring those palms to point up towards the sky, and then bend it over to that right side. Inhale it back up, and exhale it to the left side. Inhale it back up, and we'll release those hands as we find that forward fold. Flatten out that back on that inhale, and exhale, plant those hands down, step those feet back to our plank, shift that weight forward, feet to lower down onto the ground, your knees down onto the ground, you can, as we bend those elbows, and pointing those toes, lifting that chest up into that up dog. If this is a little bit too much on that low back, go ahead and lower the stomach down, so just the lowest part of the rib cage is down on the mat. Now from there, everybody soften it down, we'll reverse that plank, and then send those hips up and back into that downward facing dog. And now come onto the toes. Bend those knees, step those feet top of the mat. Inhaling that half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Interlace the fingers, flip those palms up, and bend it over to the right. Inhale it back up. Exhale it to the left. Good. Bring it back up. So release those hands, fold it forward. Flat back on that inhale. And exhale, plant those hands. Step those feet back to our plank. Lower it down. Inhale, lift up into that up dog or cobra. And exhale those hips back up, downward facing dog. Let's move through that one more time. You know, if I'm moving a little bit too fast for you, you can always slow it down a little bit. We'll hold that down dog at the end. So take your time moving through this. Again, when you're ready, on the toes. Bend the knees, step those feet top of the mat. Inhale that half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we'll rise. Interlacing those fingers, palms up. Side bend to the right. Inhale it up. And to the left. Inhale, reach it back up. And exhale, fold. Inhale the half lift. And exhale, plant the hands. Step those feet back and lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, those hips up and back, like in downward facing dog. And now come onto the toes. Bend those knees. Step those feet top of the mat. Inhale that half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Bring those feet a little closer together so toes are touching, heels can be just slightly separated, maybe like an inch of space. Sinking those hips down into that chair. If it's a little bit uncomfortable on those shoulders, maybe those arms up, you can always bring those palms up and just reach those arms straight out. Or hands at heart center is always an option too. And sinking those hips down nice and low. Breathing. Abs tight. Weight is evenly distributed throughout those feet. Now bring those hands to heart center so you can drop those hips even lower. Now we're going to twist it over to that right side. So try and hook that left tricep over this right side. Now, if this is too much, just cover that elbow. Okay, that's fine. Now, if you have that elbow hooked, drop the hips, nice flat back, and then press into those palms, twist, looking over that right elbow. Now bring it back to center and twist it over to that other side. And so drop those hips down, nice flat back, press into those palms as we twist. And bring it back to center, reach those arms up, and fold. Good, now plant those hands down. Let's go ahead and take a big step back with our left foot. Grounding that heel down, so we're going to come into our warrior one stance, inhaling those arms up overhead. So squaring those hips off, big bend into that front knee. Roll that rib cage down, soften through those shoulders. And then exhale, we're going to hug that chest. Just reaching those arms back, really strong through this back leg. Airplane wings through those arms. And inhale, we'll reach those arms back up Big bend into that front knee. Keep that core tight. And exhale, hover the chest. Reach those arms back. Inhale, bring it back up. And exhale, hover. Last one. And inhale those arms back up. Ooh, find that balance. Good. Now step both feet forward and fold. We'll go to the other side. So flatten out that back. Big step back with that right foot. So we want a pretty long stance, but we still want that back heel to be grounded down. Inhaling those arms up overhead. So if you're super, super far back and you're having a hard time getting the heel down, just shorten that stance a little bit. Okay, so then the heel is down. We're gonna have a little bit better foundation. Yeah, and we're getting a calf stretch. That's what I was trying to say. Core tight. Reach through those fingers. Then exhale, we'll hover the chest. Reach those arms back. Inhale those arms back up. And exhale, hover. Inhale it back up. And exhale, hover. Good. Hold it here, breathe. And then we'll reach those arms back up. Go ahead and step those feet to the top of the mat as we fold. Find the flat back. And exhale, plant those hands, stepping those feet back to our plank. Lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhaling those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Then come onto the toes. Bend those knees, step those feet, top of the mat. Inhale that half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we'll rise. And exhale, sink those hips down to our chair. Bringing those hands to heart center, sink those hips a little lower. And we'll twist it over to that right side. Inhale it back to center. And exhale, twist it over to that left side. Good. Bring it back to center. Reach those arms up, sink into that chair. And straighten those legs as we fold. And stepping that left foot back into that warrior one stance. Back heel grounds down. Toes are turned out just a few degrees. And then reaching those arms up. And exhale. Cover that chest. Reach those arms back. Inhale it up. Exhale, hover. Inhale, reach it up. Now this time, two options. You can either hover that chest and try and lift that back leg up into that warrior three. So reach up through those fingers. Or if you need to, lower those hands down onto the mat. Okay. You can bend into that knee a little bit more. That helps you get those arms down. So just whatever is working for you, whatever's challenging you. One more breath. And lower that foot down. Reach those arms up. And exhale, fold. To the other side, we'll step that right foot back, ground that heel down. Inhaling those arms up. And exhale, hover that chest, reaching those arms back. Inhale it up. Exhale, hover. Inhale, reach it up. Now here we go. We're gonna float that leg up. Find that balance. You can warrior three, any variety of it. So you can reach those fingers, or maybe those hands are down on the ground. Couple more breaths. Stay tight through that core. Strong through those left toes, those left feet. And then lower the foot down. Reach those arms up. And exhale. Making your way into that vinyasa. So stepping the feet back. Lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, those hips up and back. Downward facing dog. And one more breath in down dog. So this time we're going to step that right foot through to the right thumb. Back heel lowers down again. We'll come into that warrior one. Exhale, hover that chest, reach the arms back. And inhaling those arms up. Now draw the elbows down, interlace those fingers, open up through that chest. And then again, exhale, hover that chest. So this time, try and sneak that chest down to that inner thigh. Maybe that shoulder comes down and touches that knee. And if that's too much and you just want to be kind of hovered over that thigh, that is perfectly fine. Now releasing those hands as we rise up, straighten that front leg, keep those hips nice and square, okay, so those hip bones are pointing straight forward. And then reach, 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 reach forward. So kind of tabletop position with that spine. And then we can lower the hands down onto shin, the ankle, or maybe those fingertips all the way down toward the ground. And then lay those hands down, step that foot back to our plank. Lower, inhale, lift, and exhaling those hips up and back, down dog. Let's go to the other side. We'll step that left foot through, that left thumb. Back heel lowers down. Inhaling those arms up. Exhale, hover the chest, reaching those arms back. And inhale it back up. Now exhale, draw those arms down, interlace the fingers to open the chest. And then we're gonna fold it forward into that humble fold. Go ahead and release those arms to come back up. We'll straighten that front leg, squaring those hips off, and then reach it forward, lower the hands down to the shin, the ankle, or maybe all the way down to the ground. If you need to keep a slight bend in that front knee, you can. Stay really active, pressing into that back heel. Then lay out those hands, step it back to a plank and vinyasa. Exhaling those hips back into that child's pose. So toes come together. So we send those hips back to the heels, and then we can just rest that head down onto the mat. Pause it here for a few breaths. You know, if you're on a hardwood floor, I would turn so you're on the log edge of your mat. So you want your knees to stay on the mat. It's going to be a lot more comfortable. Okay, if you're on carpet, you can just bring the knees out a little bit wider off of the mat. It shouldn't be a problem. So we're going to come into that frog pose. So if you want to angle the toes in a little bit, if that's a little bit more comfortable on your knees and your hips, that's fine. Okay, or if you want to go into that full frog pose where the toes, let me see, yes, are pointing out, okay, that's fine too. So no right or wrong way. Me personally, I like kind of angling my toes in. So that's where I'm going to be. So find, I don't know if comfortable is the right word because this is a really big stretch, but the most comfortable that you can be in this position. How about that? Keeping that core tight so we don't want to be arched to the back or rounded, just nice neutral spine. Gently pressing into those forearms, pressing those hips a little closer to those heels. And maybe press those hips back a little bit more. Maybe walk those knees out a little bit wider. Now, if you're not already there, come onto those forearms. Okay, we're just going to twist, reaching that left arm out and lower it down. Twisting, reaching that right arm out. Lower it down. Let's go one more time each side. Twisting, right arm reaches out. And down. Left arm reaches up. And down. Make your way out of this. And then we're going to come back to a downward facing dog. And come into that pigeon. So we're going to take that right knee to the right wrist. Foot's going to come across and then slide that right leg back. And then once you're in that position where you feel that good stretch, lower yourself down onto those forearms, maybe stacking the fists, resting that head down onto those hands. Maybe you can come all the way down to the forearms, or maybe that head can make its way all the way down towards the ground. Nice big breaths in. Nice slow exhales. And now come back up onto those hands. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So send that right leg back. Pause for a breath or two in down dog. And we'll go to the other side. So sending that left knee towards that left wrist. Foot comes across. And then slide that right leg back. And when you're ready, lower onto the forearms. And rest that head down. And then come back onto those hands. Step it back to down dog. And then let's make our way through to a seat. Okay, we're gonna hug that left knee into the chest, right leg just extends out. We'll bring that left hand behind the back. Now you can either hug that knee in, sitting up tall, or you can reach that arm up, hook that elbow across, and then twist. So whatever feels better for you, wherever you feel like you can get the better stretch. All through that spine, gaze over that shoulder. Switching sides, and hug that right knee in, left leg just extends out. Right hand plants behind the back as we hug that knee or hook that elbow across. Up to you. And then bring it back to center. Go ahead and bring the bottoms of the feet together. Those knees can be wide. Sitting up nice and tall. Draw those elbows in by the sides, and then just start to pull yourself forward. So we're going to another stretch through those inner thighs. Those knees soften down. And then bring it back up. Go ahead and bring those knees together. And we're just going to roll down onto our backs. So we'll keep those knees hugged in. We'll go into that spinal twist. So right knee hugs in, left leg extends out. Then we'll just twist, reaching that right arm out. With each exhale, maybe trying to twist a little bit more, not forcing it, letting it happen with that breath. And bring it back to center. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So hug that left knee in, right leg will reach out and twist. Reaching that left arm out, shoulder stays down. And bring that knee back to center. Go ahead and hug both knees into the chest. Then we can just extend those legs up. So kind of like legs up the wall, but just letting you're using your core a little bit more to keep those legs lifted. You want to interlace those fingers around the knees, kind of give it a little extra help if you can. Just keep that tailbone down. Let that blood flow just rush out of the feet. You relax. Maybe get some of that stagnant fluid or that stagnant energy out of those feet. Bring bend into those knees, hug the knees in. We'll round that spine, bringing the forehead to the knees. Curl into that teeny tiny little ball. Then extend those legs out, reaching those arms overhead. Full body stretch from the fingertips all the way down through those toes. And exhaling those arms down by the sides. Palms will face up, shoulder blades will walk together. Taking that big breath in. And exhale, relaxing. Just letting yourself rest. Yourself completely relax. Really heavy into the mat, letting the ground support you. Begin to deepen your breath. And just begin to gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. Reaching your arms overhead for that full body stretch with the fingertips all the way down through those toes. And drawing those knees into the chest as you gently roll it on over to that right side. Letting that right arm support your head. That left arm just falls in front, completely resting on your side. And then press yourself up into that seated position. Sitting nice and tall. Hands are just resting on your knees, just pausing for a few breaths. Just being in this calm, this quiet, relaxed state for a few more breaths. Big breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Thank you guys so much for joining me this evening. Have a great rest of your day. And we got our core, our 25-minute core focused power yoga tomorrow.